What's going on, everyone? So our bench is really struggling, right? Max Christie, he has not lived up to the expectations thus far. Again, said it before, I can't get on him yet. 21-year-old kid who went from no role to now we need you to be absolute clamps defensively and give us double-digit scoring every single night. Going from no role to we need you to be the sixth best player on this team every single night. I want to judge him once we get 20, 25, 30 games in. If there's really no improvement, and he really hasn't gotten better, then we'll have that hard conversation. However, you got a guy in Dalton Knecht, and I know he's a rookie, but his shooting, we've seen, he's had his inconsistencies, don't get me wrong. He's had his rough moments. Defensively, still a little concerning at times. His efforts there, it's just, he's not an NBA level defender yet. But his off-ball movement, off-ball shooting, the way that he can just get hot in a stretch. I want to see the Lakers, specifically JJ Redick, give Knecht more of an opportunity in the style of play calling, right? Because right now, he kind of just has Knecht floating out there, which to an extent I get. To an extent is fine. Because, again, he's a rookie. We're 7 games in. Right? Let the kid kind of work through some stuff. Let him kind of just get a feel for the game. Let him get his legs under him. Right? Like, I understand not wanting to put too much of a workload on a kid right out the gate. I understand, you want to kind of allow him to build himself up to the place that you need him to be. But he is our best chance right now at just some form of offensive production, because he's better offensively than Max Christie. Max Christie right now is just spot up 3-and-D guy, right? Which, again, that's the role that he was expected to play. Like, no one was expecting him to just, cross dudes up, go get into the teeth. Like, I think he can do that on occasion. He has shown the ability in previous seasons to be able to do that, but we knew his role going in was going to be a legit just 3-and-D wing, 2-guard type of player. And that's what he's basically been. Dalton Knecht, his offensive versatility and his size and his ability to shoot over the top with his athleticism, I just think is much valuable on the offensive side of things. And if Dalton Knecht can start getting comfortable, it might take some pressure off of Max Christie to where he can kind of settle in a little more. Where it's like, okay, now I don't have to be great every single night, right? Like, let Knecht kind of take over and do that. But you're going to have to run some play designs if Knecht is really expected to, make some real strides offensively. And look, maybe it comes later on down the road. It's very possible that as the season progresses, JJ Redick kind of amps up Dalton Knecht and his responsibilities. I mean, look at like last season with Victor Wembanyama and Greg Pop, right? Like, Pop was like, hey, let's take your time with him. Early in the season, he was playing like 19 minutes some nights. It's like, why are you playing him 19 minutes? But then you saw as the season progressed, he got bigger and bigger of a role, started getting more shot attempts, started to, his minute uptick started to kick in. He started playing, 40 minutes a game, right? Playing overtimes. He had games where he played like 48 minutes, right? Like, you saw as the season progressed, the responsibility started to pick up. So I could see something similar with Dalton Knecht. I also hope Christian Wood, whenever he gets back, and it might take him a couple games, but I'm hoping eventually he kind of settles in. I think he'll be much better under JJ Redick because of his versatility on the offensive side. And he's the closest thing we have to an Anthony Davis. Obviously, he's not Anthony Davis. Not what I mean. What I mean is in the offensive versatility, right? A lot of the actions that we run with Anthony Davis on the floor, as soon as Anthony Davis goes to the bench and you put in Jackson Hayes, you can't run any of those. Because Jackson Hayes is, a liability outside of like 5 feet. But a guy like Christian Wood, you can still run all of the same stuff because he can shoot from pretty much anywhere on the basketball court. He can knock down the 3-ball. He can knock down the elbow. He can knock down the mid-range. He can knock down that free throw line extended. He can take guys and beat them off the dribble. You can throw them in a post-up matchup, right? Like, it just opens up so much more for the Lakers and Christian Wood. So I do believe that Christian Wood could kind of change the narrative of the Lakers bench to an extent. I don't see him coming off the bench and giving you 30, but he is a guy that's proven to go give you 17 and 6 off the bench for teams like Houston and stuff. So I do believe that he can also take pressure off of guys. Again, now Max Christie, he doesn't have to be the 6th guy. Now he can be the 7th or 8th guy. Dalton Knecht, he doesn't have to be the 6th, 7th guy. He can be the 7th or 8th guy, right? Like, now you have that. Here's the guy that your bench is running through, and then Knecht and Christie can kind of, operate around that and then continue to play their game. And now there's not as much pressure on them. Right now, it's not like, oh, we have to be great every night. So now I got to make sure I'm getting shots up and doing all this stuff. Right? Because Christian would kind of settle things down a little bit. Also, the other side is, of course, a trade. If the Lakers end up like Houston, or not Houston, Utah. Utah is one of the teams that has been heavily linked to the Lakers for some time now, where, you get a guy like a Colin Sexton, a Walker Kessler. Those are two guys. Jordan Clarkson is another guy that supposedly Utah wants the Lakers to take. If you can get a Jordan Clarkson, if you can get a Colin Sexton, ideally, I would prefer Colin Sexton. Those are two guards that can come off the bench, kind of give you what you need from Dalton Knecht and Max Christie. Sexton, I'd probably start, but he is a guy that was willing to come off the bench for Utah. I can imagine him not really holding much gripe with the Lakers, just kind of like, hey, at least this season, we need you to come off the bench for us, and then we'll work on you being a starter next season type thing. You can kind of use it as a justification of like, we just got you. We already got our systems, like give you time to, unless he's just so great that you got to put him in the starting unit, right? Just kind of a thought, right? But also Walker Kessler gives you that big man that can come off the bench, kind of give you the rim protection. And then again, if you get Christian Wood back, now you have Christian Wood and Walker Kessler along with Colin Sexton. Now you might end up being one of the better benches in the league and still maintain a good quality offense, right? Especially if you can turn like a Jalen Hood-Schifino and say a D'Lo into these two. Now you're turning one guy that's giving you no production and Jalen Hood-Schifino into a guy that can give you a ton of production, and then a guy that, in a D'Angelo Russell who will give you a guy that gives you similar production and has more athleticism, better rim pressure, things like that. He's not the playmaker and volume shooter that D'Lo is, but D'Lo hasn't really, he's still, the assists are still there, the playmaking's still there, but the volume shooting percentage has not been there. But he started off slow last year. Hopefully he kind of picks it up. But point is like, until those things happen, I do think Dalton Knecht gives you the best chance at kind of giving you an uptick in offensive production off the bench, right? Gabe Vincent has been unplayable. Cam Reddish, he really looked great in that Detroit game, but he's not giving you much offensively. Jackson Hayes needs to be set up, so he's not a guy that can just go get a bucket. Max Christie, he's having his struggles and his inconsistencies. Dalton Knecht's kind of the one guy that has consistently been able to put the ball in the hoop. Even on bad nights, he's still getting you a couple buckets, right? So if you kind of give him an uptick in offensive production and offensive responsibility, also, the more consistency you get, the more comfortable you get, the more in rhythm you get, things like that. I would like to kind of see that maybe play out better, where Dalton Knecht's getting more of an offensive role, getting more of an offensive opportunity, and then you got to do that through play design. You got to actually call some action for Dalton Knecht. If he's just floating out there the whole game, he's not getting as much opportunity. He's not getting a real workout, and he's not getting, the rhythm that he needs to be able to do the things that are necessary to make this team, put this team in the best position possible. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think, like, yes, you got to get Dalton Knecht in some more actions. Don't just have him floating around out there. Really give him the opportunity to show what he can do. Get him in some type of rhythm. Get him in some type of groove. He gives the best chance at kind of elevating the offensive production off the bench. Right? Because Max Christie, he doesn't have the offensive repertoire that Dalton Knecht has. And we knew that from the moment we got Dalton Knecht. Like, it was like, man, this is a guy that you could see go getting you 15, right out the gate for the Lakers. Where Christie was like, okay, can you give us, 8, 10? But Christie's more so for his two-way ability, right? Being able to defend while also giving you, some form of offensive production. He's just not giving you that offensive production thus far. All right, where Dalton Knecht, he's a guy that's like, the defense is really concerning, but the offense should be there. He's a guy that can make an impact right out the gate offensively. And, you've seen a little bit of that. But if you give him a real opportunity, give him a real role, I could see him potentially really kind of expanding on that. But you got to actually give him a real opportunity and give him a real role, right? But do you feel the other way? Do you think continue to let him slowly develop, continue to allow him to kind of get into a rhythm over the course of the season, right? Don't put too much on his plate at once. Allow him to kind of take his time and kind of wean him into the NBA. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.